Hi guys, welcome back to Earth to Rosita. Today I just wanted to talk about, I wanted to uh, make a video as a continuation of my train of thoughts on, abortions and the whole Roe versus Wade situation happening in the United States right now. And I kind of wanted to, the spin off of this is my thoughts about abortions as a vegan. Um, So, a couple of nights ago, I was watching Liz Wheeler's show, episode 140, and she there was a part of that video. I think the timestamp starts at 17:59 or something. I will insert that right now. 3, 2, 1.
And the people who don't like to hear about it are actually pro-lifers. And I understand this. Pro-lifers don't like to talk about it because we understand, or don't like to hear about it all the time, because we actually understand what it is of the abortion procedure. We understand that a life begins at conception, and that's it's a fully human child in the mother's womb. And then the abortion procedure either essentially suffocates, it deprives the child of nutrients, it pulls the child apart limb from limb, it injects poison into the baby's heart to induce a heart attack, or it crushes the baby's skull and sucks out the brain. And I say these words, again, feeling somewhat outside of my body, because it's really hard to fathom that that happens so often in our nation, that thousands of times a day, little babies are killed for convenience, and that we have allowed this for decades to happen in our country. That over 60 million babies, as beautiful as my daughter, have been killed.
Okay, so when I watched that, it was not only confronting as somebody who's kind of flimsy on abortions and kind of all over the place, and I don't really have a very intense or strong stance. When I watched that, it kind of changed me. It changed my perspective, and it kind of made it a lot more real. I think I've only ever had a pregnancy scare once in my life, but it's just when I watched that whole episode, and I really recommend that you guys go and watch it, because especially the women out there who are kind of like pro-choice, or they're sitting on the fence on this topic, I recommend you go watch that episode and see how you feel about what this incredible woman is saying. But what I also found interesting is that the more it sunk in what she was saying, not only did it make me feel more like I'm heading toward a pro-life movement, and I'm in a stronger stance. I saw myself in her in that moment. I saw myself, I saw bits and pieces of myself in the sentiment of what she was saying, because that is exactly what vegans are fighting for too. It's just we're fighting for it for different species, cow, pig, chicken. And I know that Liz Wheeler, I know that Liz's stance on this, and many Christians and Catholics and many religious people, they just the reason why they don't really feel very concerned about animals is because they believe that animals don't have souls, animals don't have the consciousness that we do, which is kind of really disconnected from reality. When you, like, if you've ever been around an animal, if you've ever been around a pig, chicken, like, what makes a soul in the beginning? Like, what is it that you're looking for to prove to you that a soul is in that body? Because cow, like if you have a dog, like any companion animal, they understand when you communicate with them. Like, they understand when you're angry, they understand the energy that you put out. Like, I have 3 cats, you know, most of them, they're rescues, and they all have different personalities. So that's one thing that points to the fact that there's a soul in that body. There's a soul in there. They have all different personalities. One of my cats is shy and doesn't like to go outside, but likes to be in the backyard. One of my cats that I took off the street, she has anxiety, you know, because she was taken off of the street, and every time she comes back into the house after being in the sun for a couple of hours, she runs to her food. I guess that's, in my head, in my human perspective, I see that as like a form of anxiety, because she was taken off the street. So maybe it was like, it's a reoccurring thought train that maybe this is her last meal or something. And our eldest cat son, Jerry, he's a love bug, but he's very like masculine in a sense as well. Like, he doesn't like to show it too often, but he shows that he cares about us and that sort of thing. And I've been around like farm animals as well, but I've seen clips of farm animals dreaming, or even aquatic animals dreaming. And how do we know that they're dreaming? Well, they talk in their sleep, just like a human does. We have similarities between these other species of animals. And maybe for whatever reason, we've been chosen by God or the universe, or it's just random. I don't know what you believe, honestly. But whether you're an atheist conservative, I don't know if atheist conservatives are out there. If you are, hello. Thanks for watching this. But whether you're a Muslim conservative, this all applies. Like, I truly feel like we're all in the same fight. We're all fighting toward the same thing. But vegans are fighting not only for human life, but animal life as well, including the animals that most humans eat. But like, one of the most common arguments against plant-based eating or the vegan philosophy, the vegan movement, which, you know what, I'll explain the vegan philosophy as somebody who has, like, my ancestry. I'm Persian, so I discovered this year that my ancestry actually has a lot of like vegan philosophical stances. I'm Persian, so Persians, like, dating back thousands and thousands of years ago, we are tied to the Zoroaster religion. So the Zoroaster religion actually talks about veganism, believe it or not, or vegetarianism. It's it's a big component of the Zoroastrian philosophy and religion to refrain from eating cows. from eating animals. It advocates for a predominantly vegetarian diet. It doesn't exactly go toward like plant-based eating completely, because it still says that cheese is okay, but Zoroastrianism promotes herbs, vegetables, rice, like that kind of eating. Simple eating is the fulfillment of the soul. And I'm not very familiar with what the Holy Bible says, but I truly believe that Jesus would have been vegan himself, or at least like predominantly plant-based, with the exception of like being in a survival situation where maybe he needed fish, where he can't just have plant-based food all the time. And that's another thing that people need to understand about the vegan philosophy. The vegan philosophy is not just like refraining from eating like animals at all. It's about, well, can you do it? Can you eat fully plant-based in the location that you are at? Can you eat vegetarian in the location that you are at? Like, you can't say that. Like, you can't go to like a country that doesn't have the options that like America does or Australia does. Like, some countries they don't have a grocery store filled with a bunch of options that are mock meats, vegetables, rice. And I know this. I lived in Indonesia for like a month or something. I stuck to one restaurant that was vegan, but I have friends who are more well-traveled than I am, and that is their honest experience. They had to break their plant-based eating in these countries, like in like Middle Eastern countries, or some Asian countries. But that still is in line with the vegan philosophy, because the vegan philosophy is do what you can where you can. You know, it's not like this it's not you must eat plant-based all the time, or you must refrain from buying animal tested products, or wearing like non-vegan, like wearing vegan clothing all the time. It's about like, you have to be like, it depends on the situation that the person is in, and sometimes they just can't adhere to plant-based eating. So that's one thing I wanted to get out of the way. A lot of people are confused about that, but in places like the United States, where you have an abundance of food, where you have a grocery store, like 5 different grocery stores everywhere that you walk, or you can even eat like plant-based at a McDonald's. It won't be a very good meal. It won't be a very nutritious meal, and I don't recommend that, to do that like every day or something. But there are plenty of vegan options everywhere in first world or second world countries, and some third world countries too. It's just a matter of knowing what to eat and how to eat healthfully, I guess. But yeah, it's just, when Liz said 60 million babies have died over the course of like 50 years, because that's when Roe v. Wade became a thing. Now take that, and when did factory farming begin? That was like The factory farming began in, like, I think after World War One or two, I don't remember. I think it began in the 40s or something, for convenience. For convenience. Just like Roe v. Wade began around that time too. For the same reasons, I think. We started factory farming animals. Now, can I just break down how sick that concept is? Should I get graphic? Okay, I'll get graphic. So, it's not like we're just having animals have sex with each other to reproduce, to have babies, to create the milk that we need. We have to, sorry to get gross, but we have to masturbate the bull to get the semen, and then the farmer injects the semen into the cow's private area, and the cow becomes the mother through that. And then after 9 months of the cow being pregnant and bonding with the baby, and having that baby, like, you know, like, it's just like the experience of a mother. It's the same experience as a human mom, you know, like, they're bonding with that baby for 9 months. And it's just, like, most farms, they're not gonna let that bonding happen. Within 48 to 72 hours, that baby is gonna be ripped away from its mother, because the milk is not supposed to go to the baby cow. It's supposed to go to humans. And, like, it's not supposed to go to humans, sorry. It goes to humans. It's stolen baby cow milk. So you're not only, like, breaking the mother's heart by, like, ripping, like, having the mother bond with their child for 9 months. You're breaking the mother's heart by, like, ripping that child away from the mother. And where do these cows go? Like, the cycle gets repeated if the calf is a female, or if it's a male calf, then it gets killed as a child, for veal. Like, it's a sick industry. All of it is a sick industry. I could go into every single animal, but it's the same sort of, like, procedure across the board. It's disgusting. You are, like, it's at that point, you have just made the life of a sentient being, and they are sentient beings. We can sit and argue all day whether they have souls or not, whether they have a consciousness or not, and we'll never come to the same conclusion. But we already know through science that they have all animals have most animals have a central nervous system. They have a brain. They have the ability to experience reality, because, like, have you ever been in front of a cow? Of course. There's, like, videos of chickens playing a piano. There's videos of, there's, like, so many facts out there about these animals and what we've learned about them, and the fact that they are experiencing a different reality. And then let's go on to hunting. That's even, like, I don't know if that's better or worse at this point. We can, like, there's a lot of people that make excuses like, oh, they're overpopulated already. Like, so what if they're overpopulated? Like, nature has a way of working itself out on its own without our interference. I'm sorry to say, but, like, we do not need to regulate everything. What is this incessant need to like make sure that we are playing God with every other animal, including like, and then it comes back to us. Like, this is where the pro-life movement has begun. Like, the pro-life movement, I mean, the pro-life movement is fighting against this idea that we have the right to play God with another life. That's the whole basis of it, isn't it? So it's like, how could you not see the comparison between that and like the pro-choice and the pro-life movement and what they're fighting for? Like, it's the same concept. It goes back to, it spirals back and fractals back to the same kind of thing. Like, where does anybody get the right to choose who lives and who dies? Because pro-lifers believe that just as Liz said, they believe that the life starts from the moment of conception, and science, they believe that is what science has taught us. So then how could you not extend that out to animals who literally are alive, are sentient, and are having an experience of their own a conscious experience of reality? Who are we to play God for them? Who are we to say that species of animal, cow, pig, chicken, fish, deer, numerous other aquatic animals, like every animal in the world, actually, like, they're enslaved for us, for our convenience? Like, how does that make any sense at all? Like, if you can go and eat a plant-based diet, or if you can go and buy a toothpaste that isn't tested on animals, or if you can go and buy a coat that isn't made out of the skin of a fox or something, why do you not do it? Because it feels good for you? Because you're too lazy to learn about nutrition again? Like, for God's sake, I struggled for 2 years as a vegan because I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody around me, like, I wasn't born vegan. Nobody around me had any idea what I should eat. Not my mom, not my grandma. I had to relearn everything. I had to dig through books of information, YouTubers. I had to ask people, listen, I need to get myself out of this mess that I'm in, because my iron levels are down. I can't get up in the morning. But I didn't give up for 2 years. I struggled for 2 years, and I pushed through it, and God rewarded me, because I didn't want to, like, my love for animals was stronger than some weak point that I had. And I just see, like, all of these people picking on vegans that look like lanky or look unwell. Like, that's some kind of a measure of what's happening inside of the body. Like, yes, there are indications of bad health through the way that a person looks. Like, if you have thin hair, then that's not a good indication of good health. If you have pimples, then that's not a good indication of good health. But then if it's the plant-based diet that is deteriorating people, then, like, you can say that about a meat eater, because there are meat eaters that they're fat, they're overweight, they're unhealthy, they can't get up. So it's just like the like, another factor that nobody ever talks about is mindset. Like, I eat mock meats whenever the hell I want, and I have truthers telling me, oh my god, you're eating a chemical shitstorm and it's just terrible for you. But, like, the thing is that I don't pay attention, And I do just fine eating mock meats and mock cheese and soy milk. Because in my head, first of all, soy, that's another controversy. There's a lot of hate towards soy, but to be honest, I don't look at any of that crap. And the only thing that I go off of is something that my ancestry, like my family, told me about soy. They don't mind soy because in the Middle East, when we ran out of like animals to eat, we used soy in place of protein. So it's like, is soy really that bad, or is it like a myth that people created and just like became a Chinese whisper? I drink soy milk, like plain soy milk. I don't even like blend it in with tofu or something. And I've never had a problem. Maybe it's because I'm a woman. I don't know. But yeah, I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent about health, and this is supposed to be about the similarities between the pro-life movement and veganism. But I think that you guys get my point. We're fighting. So I'm gonna wrap it up with saying, you and I, pro-lifers, we're in the same fight. We're just, the only difference between you and I, pro-lifer, is that we're fighting not only for human life, but the life of every other animal that we oppress, we abuse, we play God with. And that's the human supremacist paradigm that we keep on coming back to. That's why the evil exists in this world. It's because on a grand scale, everybody does the same thing, you know, everybody eats animals. And it's just circling back to a karmic wave. And if you know about what the elites do to us, this God paradigm is the center point of all evil. Like, we play God with other animals, and then when somebody else plays God with us, like the elites, we get offended. We just went for 2 years of hell. Businesses shut down, lockdowns, forced vax, that kind of thing. Our liberties and freedoms are taken away. It's not nice, is it? It's not nice when it's you, is it? It's not nice when somebody is threatening you and your liberty. Some of you stand up for yourself, but others of you can't. We only have had a slight inkling, like a drop in an ocean of the fucking oppression that we have put animals through since the dawn of man. So this is a cycle, and it's a cycle that keeps on repeating. It's a karmic cycle that keeps on repeating. So when are we going to come to the point where we realize we are self-aware enough that we, this animal, this human species, is already doing that with other animals? Are we going to have to wait another 100 years for the next psychopath elitist that is going to like do something to our species that we don't like, that infringes on our freedom? I don't know. That's all I wanted to leave you guys off with. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. Like this video, subscribe, and have a lovely day or night. Bye, guys.